how you wanted to stagger the practices and the work that you always do.
Yeah, so like an establishment and a baseline of like work capacity and like I mentioned the first day, no excuses, toughness, lunch pail, strip it down, just make it about the work, make it about the ball. Monday and Tuesday were contact. Tuesday was, really high contact. And then the second session is always non-contact. So those second sessions were light. Yesterday was light, but I thought the mental focus that the team brought yesterday was really encouraging, which is a sign of maturity and professionalism because we weren't smashing last night or yesterday. And then today was high intensity again, and we're completely off tomorrow. So it was a good week. 3 out of 4 days were really tough, and they sprinted through the finish line. It was a good start.
At this early stage, do you incorporate film at all into what you do, or are you just walking through things?
Every day, yeah. So we start every day with film, and then the night session on Wednesday. My week's all messed up because we didn't go Monday. The night session on Wednesday was 20 minutes of film in small groups, which we'll do on low-intensity days during the year. So we introduced that platform, and we did film in the middle of practice, too, like a 6-minute film segment. One group would get a water break and get film, and then the other group would be on the court doing, like, breakdown work.
I think it was the first day I asked you about Mamadi, and he had just arrived. You didn't know much about him. What have you seen after a few days from him now?
Still a great spirit as a guy. I think he's really grateful to be here and grateful for the opportunity, and that's always a good sign. When guys are coming from another team, that's not always the place that they're in. And he's a real rocket athletically. He's fast out of his rolls. He's really explosive off the court. He's got good feet, a lot of raw tools. I grabbed him today and just told him that he's bringing a lot of juice, but he's got to bring fundamentals too, and that's going to be what he needs to improve on. He's got to get a more fundamental base, and when he really starts to crank it up, he can't lose his fundamentals. I mean, the league's just too good not to do both well, but he brings the juice.
And then with Veed pending out the last few days, is that something unexpected, expected? Is it part of his return to play, and just where is he at right now?
No, I would call it a slight setback, but not like he took practice reps today, so it wasn't. I don't want to get into like the diagnosis, but it wasn't related to the first injury. But it's a new event. It wasn't part of the plan.
After seeing Josh Giddey this week, anything that you've seen from him in competition?
Yeah, I mean, definitely impressed by the defense. I mentioned that the other day. Like, I think he's really good on his feet. And we learned this with Gallinari. Like, Gallinari's, like, huge, and he's not good on his feet, but he's really smart and he's big. Josh is smart, he's big, and he's pretty good on his feet. So I think there's potential there defensively because of his length and because of his ground game. And then offensively, what we kind of already knew, he did play with Shea today, which was by design. We wanted to, mix the teams every day, so there were different combinations every day. We had 3 guard groups at different times. We just really tried to see as much as we could. And I thought they did a good job on the court today of just kind of playing together, and but not in an awkward way. Sometimes when players have to coexist, it's like dueling pianos, like your turn, my turn. It wasn't like that. They had a good little chemistry.
Coach, what are you seeing from Aaron so far in training camp?
From who?
Aaron Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins. I'm sorry. Competitiveness. He competes. He's got a great temperament. He's really serious. He's really professional. When he steps over the line, he's like ready to rock. Smart player. 2-end player, but like really competitive. Like we had a bloodbath of a drill at the end there, and they knew it was the last drill, so they were all going at it, and he was coming up with loose rebounds. I think he's just going to be another, toughness player, but offensively, he's got game. He's not just that. He's not pigeonholed into that role. He's got some work to do on that end of the floor. It's going to slow down for him a little bit, but like he brings it every day, which is a good start.
You didn't know who you're starting Monday in the first preseason game?
No, not yet. The one thing I'll say is the lineup will change over the course of the 4 games. The rotations will change. Depending on, like, there's certain guys of, like, the Shea, Lou, Baisley category of, like, you got to just get them what they need to get ready for the regular season, but you know what they are. There's going to be a group of guys like K. Rich, Muscala, Ty Jerome, where like we have a lot of body of work, and we'll probably move them around in terms of like maybe they don't play the first half in a game and they start the second half when we shut the other guys down, just to try to keep some functionality and some continuity in those groups. But we're going to use it to take, extended looks at a lot of different things, almost like we have in practice. So all I'd say is like I wouldn't necessarily read into Monday's rotation or any rotation in the preseason. But yeah, we haven't determined that yet. We got to figure that out.
Even though this is a short amount of time, you had a lot of different combinations in camp. Are there any that are sticking out to you that were really exciting to watch or felt like it worked well together?
I thought the chemistry of multiple guards on the court together was good, no matter what it was. Like I think there was a team yesterday or 2 days ago with Trey Mann, Ty Jerome, and Teo, and like I thought those guys played with really good chemistry together. Despite the fact that it's 3-point guards. I also thought the chemistry of bigger wings together, like Baisley, Wiggins, Poku, Baisley. Those look good. And I thought when bigs were on the court together, they coexisted well. So it was encouraging to see that regardless of what we did personnel-wise, the style kind of sustained, which is just a testament to them knowing how to play and being willing to play inside of like a team concept.
We were talking about Wiggins earlier. I don't think he played AAU until maybe his junior year. Just over the course of your time coaching, do you notice, not necessarily like a value judgment, but just a difference in players who have long-term AAU experience versus those who don't? Like anything that you notice over your course of time?
I'm not sure that more AAU necessarily equals better either. Like there's some habits that you can definitely learn. So there's trade-offs with both. But no, I think the biggest thing you see with him, like the speed of the game on the offensive end, like the quickness of decision making, you can just tell it's fast. Trey, I think, navigating the length of the NBA. Jeremiah around the basket, navigating the length at the rim compared to college. That stuff stands out, when they come from college. I think Josh, in transition, like transition game in the NBA is different from the NBL, just watching him play. So, like, you can kind of see them calibrating that sort of stuff. It's more specific to the player than it is necessarily their history.
You got to see a lot of Teo last year. Do you notice anything different about him?
Yeah, I mean, certainly physically, that's the biggest thing. I mean, he really did a hell of a job with his body this summer. I think the game slowed down for him a little bit. The one thing I'll say about last year is at the end of the year when Shea was out, he was so ball dominant. But if you go back and watch the times where there was a period in there where he was starting with Shea and Lou, I think when George Hill got injured, and some of his better games were when he was off the ball or like playing with another handler and creator. And so that was something that like recency bias would stray you away from remembering that. But like it's been good to see him out here kind of in those roles again, because obviously with the way the team's constructed, we're going to have multiple handlers out there at a time. And I think it benefits him because he can shoot and he's a good secondary playmaker. So it's good to see that again because at the end of the season, he got great reps on the ball, obviously, but there was like a heavy dose of like primary handler, primary creator. So.
Anybody else in the room? Coach, we have a question on Zoom from Christos Saltis.
Christos, welcome back.
Hello, Coach. How are you?
I'm great.
Great. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. We're hoping our team brings it every day like you do.
Yeah, I hope so. I wish for it.
Us too.
I could ask you about Poku. And is there anything that surprising you or impressing you so far in this training camp? And how better player is he right now if you can compare himself with last season as a rookie?
Well, this time last year, he wasn't even drafted yet. I think it's like we're all in like this time warp. So he wasn't even drafted yet at this point. That's how long the year's been. Yeah, huge difference. Game's really slowed down. He's a much better decision maker. He's certainly done a great job with his body in terms of strength. And that's shown up, like I would say last year at this time, it was pretty evident, kind of like I just talked about the other rookies. He was calibrating the physicality of the NBA game at his strength and at his size. I also think the durability of the NBA, playing games with the pace that we play them, and then also practices. Like, I don't think he would have been able to handle this type of week of practice the way that he did at this time last year. So there's like evident growth in not only Poku, but all of our like young returners. Those guys are all showing really good signs.